morning, I figured I'd give you a little tour of my parts room. So this is a mixture of my Pontiac parts and my Nova parts. So there's kind of the organized section of the room, and then my table over here, my workbench, needs to be cleaned up. These are all parts that are done that need to be put away. They're wrapped and labeled, and it's stuff like this SS Rpo N30 Steering Wheel. I think I've shown that one before. So that's the steering wheel to the Nova. Some of those headliner brackets. What is that? Oh, the chrome pieces for the fenders, right? They go right there. However, they are wrong. If you want to see what I mean by that. So here's the new replacements I got. They go right here. I'll open the package to show you what I mean. This is what the Nova guy may already know what I mean by wrong. I mean, they're still going to be used because there's, I mean, in my opinion, not another affordable option. Otherwise, I mean, their options are just not affordable. So here they are. And one of them is the glass goes in there. So the little side marker for the lens goes in there, and there is the emblem, 396. They look beautiful, however they're wrong. They will fit in there perfectly fine, and as long as I got the right size. Let's see the side, and yeah, I did. So that's the right side for this fender. They fit just fine. I mean, other holes probably need to be reamed out a little bit, but they're incorrect. What I mean by that is, this is the original right here. The numbers aren't raised, and this is just, I think they call it like foil, but it's flat. Well, it's embossed, but it's primarily flat. That's the correct one. But they're pricey. You're gonna pay for them if you want them. Versus, I bought these used, and I saved probably about 70 or 80 bucks, but I paid 25 or 30, I think, for the set for both of them. And when I say used, they were never mounted. They were simply purchased. But they'll fit, but they're not technically right if somebody wanted to get really picky about it. But that's what, long story short, that's what this cabinet full of stuff is. It is a mixture. So I've got fan shroud for my Pontiac, steering wheel, valve cover, some other parts. I got a lot of shit up here. Intake for the 396 for the Nova. It's a cross member for my Pontiac. I've even got some Cadillac parts up there. But that's the unorganized side. And then I've got glass and regulators back behind here. Regulators up on the shelf. Brand new hood. The old hood had some creasing on the center line, and it was slightly bowed a little more than it should be. Fuel tank, which is in pretty good shape. I'm tempted to try to reuse this fuel tank even. I mean, people will probably say I'm crazy because these things are so cheap, but what's the point in replacing everything if you don't have to? So, fuel tank, got some parts to put the engine trans back together on the Pontiac. I've got rear seat for Pontiac, the other fender, which I'm probably not going to use these fenders. Well, I'm definitely not going to use these fenders. Don't know if I'll sell them or not, or just hold on to them. But, you know, usually it's this lower half of the fender that is all rotted out. And what you can do is you can seam in a patch right here on this seam. And then you can take the brace on the rear and replace the bottom half of this brace, or either reuse the brace. So I'm used to that being rotted out. That's NBD, no big deal. But this fender was pretty ate up through here and had a lot of mud on it here. And this is the better of the two. The other one was a lot worse. So I've got a pretty good deal on these replacement AMD fenders. I bought them secondhand off of another marketplace deal where someone bought them and never used them and sold them to me for $400 for the pair. So, and I only had to drive half hour for them. So we'll see how they fit. But these are the fenders I'll end up using. So here's a little tour of the rest of the parts I got. So over here I have my headlight bezels. Again, if you're a Nova guy, what you'll find with these headlight bezels is they're specific to the 68, which a lot of parts are specific to 68, but you'll notice around here is a clean circle. No indentations for adjustment on these. On the later ones, you would have had an indentation for adjustment, for headlight adjustment right there. These do not have that. Another thing to point out is the lines over here. On later models, these lines are all a shine finish, a chrome or bright finish, I should say. On 68 specifically, they are bright here and here, but not here, and also no bright work here on the SS's. So generally 68s would be chrome inside, unless it's an SS. SS had the black satin finish and did not have chrome pieces here, only at the top and bottom. So these are 68 specific, not to say other years would not fit. Some other components, I've got headlight buckets and core support components inside that box, and I've got tail components inside that box. Other than I'm missing one out of there because I did a video showing how I clean that up, but I'll clean up the rest of those parts eventually. But some of those parts are delicate pieces that need to be reassembled with the package tray that I've got inside there. Otherwise, I have carpet, I've got some stainless, I've got some of the door seals inside here, and then this bowl full of bolts was in the trunk, and then whenever I started digging through it, I found that it is my radiator bolt, or I'm sorry, radiator slash core support bolts, and also some horns, and some various fender bolts. I'm not sure if that's the original dog dish that was on the wheels or not. But I did not get factory wheels with this car, unfortunately. I've got, obviously, my kick panels there, and got battery tray here. I need to go through this and organize some of this, but I've got front seat, and this is that inner fender that I cleaned up. I've got to still spray that, but I'm going to hold off and do it at the same time I do the fenders. Then I need to take that that inner fender out and do the same thing with it. But I've got front seat here. I've went through front seat and rear seat looking for my build sheet, and I cannot find it, unfortunately. It was also not underneath the gas tank, unfortunately. and no indication that it was ever there. I didn't see much mouse issues other than, you know, as dry rotted out, this stuff is cracking like crazy. I don't know if that's what that is with mice, but I didn't see a bunch of stuffing torn out or anything, so I don't know if it's missing from mice or if it was never put there or if somebody else took it out, but these are original seat covers specific to 68. And if anyone knows where I can find replicas to these seat covers, I would really appreciate it because I cannot find replicas. And specifically what I've got is I have a very normal grain from here. I've got my striping there, these little rectangles, stripe, split down the middle, the rectangles, and then same thing over here. If someone can find that in a split bench and rear seat cover, I would be extremely grateful. But original seats, I'm going to clean these up and recover them. I do not want buckets in here. I want the original split bench. So if someone knows where I can find those, that would be awesome. I think they called it something to the effect of premium black vinyl interior. And this also came with a black vinyl flooring instead of carpet. However, someone at some point acquired some used carpet, and I think they were going to try to throw it in the car, but it did not have carpet in it. It still had the vinyl flooring whenever I got the car and I pulled it out. I pulled it out as delicately as possible, but it was pretty shot by the time I pulled it out. And then over here I have all my door panels, front and rear door panels, as well as the interior cards as well. And then I have all my door hardware over here. So this is armrest, the little springs, the cranks, everything inside these. One for right, one for left. I have my door sills, or sill plates I should say. Here's that trunk piece, minus the SS emblem was missing on it. I have my sun visors, seat belts here. These parts are also 68 specific, and they're very hard to come by, and that is these A-pillar covers. And the ones that I have are in pretty good shape. Then I've got my front grille, plastic piece. Those even like brand new, those pieces cracked. This little piece right here. One thing to point out is everyone always body color paints that plastic cover. That cover goes over the stamped steel piece. Everyone always body color matches that. That's wrong. It is supposed to be argent silver. Okay. And then I have my big block radiator, my 6-blade fan, hinges. It's a little dark over hinges. Heater core, front and rear bumper. And then my boxes to my TVs. I always save my TV boxes. Don't throw these things out. I had a TV actually go out upstairs. I pulled it off the wall, purchased the parts that I needed for it, and while I was off the wall, I threw it back in the box because I still had the box. And the original foam. I don't throw boxes to big purchases away. They go down in my basement. That's why I look like I'm a hoarder over here with all my Christmas decorations that the wife had out, and then all my paint with my shelves caving in from all the paint I've got. But yeah, this is my little part storage. As unorganized as this area is over here, I'm kind of ashamed of how unorganized it is, but it's not too bad. I can get around down here, grab a part that I need, try to get through and clean it, and put it back together. Another thing I've got over here is in one of these bags I have, oh there it is, there's my console right there. That's all cleaned up. And then I have a tote full of parts to go back in it, but you know, my bolts, circuit, printed circuit portion for the bulbs, headlight bezel, all the parts for that console ready to go back in. I try to be as organized as I can when it's important. You know how it goes. Sometimes you fight yourself on organization. Some people are just really good at organization. It comes like second nature to them, and then sometimes I have to fight with myself to be organized. But so I went ahead and opened up that steering wheel so you could see it. I think I've shown this before, but I'll show it again just in case. It's that Rpo N30 steering wheel. A lot of people use the center portion of this and put it on a reproduction wheel. The only problem is the reproduction wheel doesn't have that like ribbing that goes around the bottom half of it. This one's kind of beat up, but I did my best to save it and it came out pretty good. When I say beat up, like every once in a while it had a little nib out of it and I had to use epoxy to try to repair it. But from a couple feet away it looks great. We'll get that wrapped back up. And then here's the valve covers. I painted these all black with like the heat VHT gloss black, and then I took and wire wheel wet sanded the raised portions, and then I clear coated that. And then I'll probably put something here. I want to do like something custom or personalized, like Big Mike right there. But that's the valve covers. Have to wrap those back up. But it's worth showing those because I did these before I got into YouTube, before I started doing YouTube. And I think they came out pretty good. There it is. Hope you enjoyed the tour.